with that backdrop, one of the things that's coming out is that President Obama, we've talked about his proposal, and he has in some ways entrenched his position even more since last week, where he is just not giving any ground, at least in terms of increasing taxes on the top 2%. Now, we know that in terms of impacting the economy, increasing taxes on the top 2% has very little implications for the economy. Virtually nil. It's the old, a rich guy buys one loaf of bread at a time. And the Congressional Research Service, Moody's Analytics have both come out with reports that say when you increase taxes on people who are making over $250,000, when you increase taxes on each dollar above $250,000, not the money that the first $250,000 that they make, it has very little implications because they're not going to change their buying habits one way or another. They're not going to change their hiring habits, their buying habits. It's not going to have any impact on their lives in terms of it impacting the economy, and probably not on their lives. If you're making $1 million a year and you got to pay another $20,000 in taxes or whatever it is, 3% on that every dollar above the $750,000, you're not going to say, well, we're not going to get that house. I'm not going to buy that other car. I was gonna if I had that extra 20. No, you're just not going to buy as much stocks. You're not going to still hide more money away in the Caymans, whatever it is. You're simply not going to impact the economy in that way. And the one sort of, it is still floating around out there. But we talked about Tom Cole, who had said, we've got to sort of give in on this. The idea that the Republicans had is maybe as a fallback position was, we'll take that hit on the marginal increase, the increase in the marginal rates, but maybe we can keep the capital gains at 15% as opposed to it automatically going back up to 20%. Maybe we can keep the carried interest loophole so that if I'm a hedge fund guy and I'm making $20 million a year because I'm gambling with other people's money, that's not really investing. That's the way I get paid. And it's unclear whether or not that's going to happen at this point. But what is clear is that President Obama is taking a position that is more aligned with Democrats in the House, or at least some Democrats. And part of that reason, I think, is because Nancy Pelosi is being very aggressive in pushing this, and she does not seem to be backing down. And it's very hard to know what's going on in the White House, whether they're going, Nancy Pelosi has sort of boxed us in some respects. But right now she's continuing on her attempt, and much of this is also about the elections that are going to be taking place in 2 years from now, forcing the Republicans into a box where they are rejecting middle-class tax cuts in favor of, or drawing the line as leverage for tax cuts for millionaires. And so Nancy Pelosi is attempting to force a vote on the package that's already been passed in the Senate 5 months ago, basically providing a preemptive tax cut for the middle class. Because we know that all the Bush tax cuts are going to sunset come January. She now has, I believe, about 154 signatures on this discharge petition, which essentially forces a vote even though Boehner doesn't want one. They need 218 members, which means that they need, about 30 to 50 from the Republicans. Maybe it's closer to like 25 or something. They won't get it. But what it will do is it will make a lot of Republicans sweat. Because at one point in the next election cycle, one of the ads you will see is, hey, Republican Congressman Jim Stevenberg, he would, I don't know who that guy is. He's one of the few, refused to allow for a vote on a middle-class tax cut. And so even if this guy ends up, even if the middle class tax cuts end up going through, even if he takes the vote later, he's still going to be on record as having refused that discharge petition. We got to link up Credo, which is continually impresses me with the positions they take. They have a petition list, and they're sending out email blasts, and this is not something that helps you build a list, as far as I can tell. This insider baseball stuff. So they are really pushing to get more and more, because the closer they get to that number of 218, the more pressure it puts on these members of Congress. And Pelosi is going, she's getting very aggressive with this.